In this episode, I'm going to show you how you can use Lightroom, specifically the print module in Lightroom, to put a border around your photo. So the first thing you have to do is obviously select an image, and we'll take this one here because it's got a nice white background. And if you're displaying that on a white screen, then you don't really know where the edge is. So let's select that, and we'll go into the print module. So in the print module, you have lots of different templates, and the one that I've selected is the maximum size one that brings me up to this 8:4 size. And then what you have to do to get the border is under image settings, there's an option called stroke border. So you click on that and it puts a border around. And it's right now the color is black and it's 1 point. But you can make that, as thick as you want up to 20 points and as narrow as you want down to 0.2. So I'm going to go, I don't know, let's go 10 so you can see it easily, and it's black. Now, by clicking on this color box up here, you can select all different colors. Right now it's black, but I can change the saturation and go all the way up and get really bright colors. And so if I wanted to say have a color similar to that, then I could pick something like that to put around it. So it doesn't have to be black, it doesn't have to be white. You can pick complementary colors, however you want to do it to make it look interesting. For photo competitions, I would stick with black or white depending on your background. So in this case, we'll stick with black. Okay, so we've done that. We've got our image, we've got our border. And so all we have to do now is save that. And the way you save it is you go down to the print job, and under print 2, you've got two options. You can either send it to the printer, which we do if you were printing out, but all of ours are digital at the moment, or save it to a JPEG file, and that's what we want to do. So we're going to save it to a JPEG file. And the rest of this stuff, I don't want to say ignore, but resolution isn't really particularly important, but your JPEG quality, because we're going to have to do this twice, you want it at 100%. And then your profile is sRGB. So when you've got all that set up, you just say print to file, and it's going to bring up a dialog box, and you tell it where you want to print it. And I have a temporary folder, and I'm just going to put it here, and I'll call it with border, and save that. So I know where I saved it to, and because it's not in my library, basically this exports it to a JPEG outside your library. So, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't resize it for the projector. So let's take a quick look. So if I go up and get the file browser, and I go into my temporary folder, and here it is here, and if I right click on that and go to properties, details, you can see under dimensions, it's much larger than what's allowed for photo entry. So again, you have to resize that in Lightroom. Unfortunately, you can't do both when you're exporting with the border, and when you export without a border, you can't add, using the export dialog, you can't put a border around it. But I have submitted a product enhancement recommendation to Adobe to add that, so that you can either in the print module resize it if you're exporting to a JPEG, or if you're just exporting using the export module, that you can add a border when you export it. So we'll see how that goes. So look for that in a later enhancement update to Lightroom Classic. Anyway, there's our photo. It's in my E drive in the temp folders, so I need to import that. So I need to go to the library module, click on import. There's my E drive, there's my temp, and there's the photo. I don't want that one, so I just selected that one, and I don't want to move it. I'm just gonna add it to my library so I can play with it, and then there's really nothing that I have to do here. And I'll go import.
You seem a little tense.
So now that it's been imported, it shows up in previous import, but it'll also show up on my E drive in my temp folder down here. So they're one and the same. And if we double click on that to bring it up full size, you can see now that it has this black border around it. And if you go over into the details, the metadata, you can see that it's got these large dimensions. So now all you have to do, since you've got it in Lightroom, is you can either click on export, you can do file export, or you can right click and go to export. I prefer the right click because then it's easy to grab my user presets, and I already have a photo entry preset for that, so I just click on that and boom, and it's got one. So I'll say use unique names, and it puts it in my photo entry folder. So then if I go back to my E drive in my export folder for photo entry, you can see it's here. And if I double click on that, bring it up in the photo viewer, and you can see that it's got this nice border around it. And if I go and look at file information for that, it's going to show me it's 1050 by 742. So it's smaller than the 1400 by 1050. Well, actually not. I mean, it's the 1050 height. It's not 1400 wide, so it's kept it within those dimensions. So that is how you would then export or create a border around your image and export it for photo entry or for any other purpose. Give it a try. Let me know how it works.